Hello and thank you for joining us at XM.com for this Forex Preview video. The Eurozone area is in the eye of the recession storm. While the euro bounced back slightly from parity against the US dollar, it's still not out of the woods. Hence, Tuesday's PMIs for August will be closely watched for what lies ahead for the euro area. I'm Christina Marujos. Joining me today is our lead investment analyst, Rafi Boyajian. Rafi, the energy crisis is still gaining ground, even though oil prices have cooled slightly recently, and more countries across the Eurozone area are preparing for the winter ahead. The PMIs, though, are expected to show a contraction in activity. Is the Eurozone headed for a recession, you think?
Well, Christina, as you said, the Eurozone just keeps stepping from one crisis to another. So this issue with natural gas prices in Europe is only getting worse. Nord Stream capacity, which is the main pipeline supplying Europe with natural gas from Russia, that's down to 20% capacity. And now, following that period of where they made some scheduled maintenance, it will be shut down again for unscheduled maintenance, this time at the end of the month, for potentially from 1 to 3 days. And each time this happens, of course, investors worry that Russia will not turn the taps back on again afterwards. And even if gas supplies do resume after that, there's of course the ongoing fear that Russia could potentially stop supplying Europe with gas during some point in the winter. So all of this is really putting upward pressure on natural gas prices, and the recent drought we had in Europe, that made things worse as well, because it did make it more difficult to transport other types of fuel via ships on the Rhine River due to falling water levels. So gas prices are currently at record highs across much of Europe, this does mean that it's going to make the inflation problem even worse. Inflation has hit 8.9% in the euro area and will probably continue to rise, even as we see a substantial moderation in oil prices. On top of all this, the growth in major export markets such as China is slowing, and this is a problem particularly for Germany, Europe's largest economy, which does export a lot to China. So therefore, Germany is bearing the brunt of all the latest crises, and Germany could in fact already be in recession. Both the manufacturing and services PMIs had fallen below 50 in July. They're expected to fall deeper into contractionary territory in August. For the Eurozone PMIs, they are also forecast, both the manufacturing and services, to fall below 50 in August. So it's not looking too great at the moment. And when you consider the fact that the ECB has no choice right now but to tackle inflation and therefore raise interest rates, there's very little positive about the outlook.
Well, speaking of the ECB, Rafi, let's turn to the single currency. Having stabilized following the brief run with parity last month against the US dollar, the euro is now back under pressure. Therefore, can the European Central Bank offer any support for the single currency when it meets in September?
So that is right. The euro is back under pressure. It's just flirting with parity level again. So the gloomy outlook is clearly weighing on the single currency. So even though the ECB has now joined other central banks in raising rates and expected to raise them again in September, this is of little boost to the single currency. The chances of recession are definitely greater in the euro area than in the United States. Apart from that, the US economy, of course, is more resilient, and therefore it can withstand much higher rates than the Eurozone. The US dollar is therefore expected to remain strong because of this and because of its safe haven attributes. So even if we start to see more concrete signs in the coming months that inflation in the US is peaking, but there's still some way for inflation to go in Europe, the dollar will benefit from safety flows as well as weaker economic fundamentals weighing on the euro and overshadowing higher rates. So the dollar is looking like it will be able to keep the downward pressure on the euro for some time yet.
I see. Rafi, thank you for joining me today. And thank you for watching this Forex Preview on Eurozone PMIs out tomorrow here at XM.com.